have you ever noticed that some people genuinely enjoy walking alone at night? Not because they have to, not because they're avoiding something, but because for them, there's something strangely peaceful about it. The streets are quiet, the air feels different. The world slows down in a way it rarely does during the day. Maybe the streetlights glow softly along the sidewalks. Cars pass occasionally, and everything feels calmer, almost like the world is taking a deep breath. And
Hey,
if you're
walking
someone who
alone at night
likes
can be
walking alone
risky.
at
You should
night,
always
you've
be aware of
probably
your
heard people
surroundings.
say
I
things
know,
like,
but what if something
"Isn't that
happens?
scary?"
Is pepper
Or
spray enough
"Why
for
would you go out
protection?"
alone at night?" But here's the
They say
interesting
you shouldn't walk
psychological
alone
twist.
at night.
For many
But
people,
what
walking
if you
alone
don't
at
have a
night isn't
choice?
about danger or loneliness at all. It's about clarity. Let me explain. During the day, your brain is constantly processing information. Conversations,
I get it
notifications,
now.
work tasks, responsibilities, noise, traffic, expectations from others. It's a non-stop stream of stimulation. Your brain is essentially juggling dozens of things at once. But when night falls, something changes. The world becomes quieter, and that quietness does something fascinating to the human mind. Your brain
Welcome to
begins
psychology.
to slow down.
We'll explore how
Psychologists
cognition,
sometimes
or
refer to
thinking,
this
and
as a
emotion
reduction
work
in
together to
cognitive load.
influence our observable
During
behaviors.
quieter environments, the brain doesn't have to filter as much information, which allows deeper thinking to emerge. In simple terms, when the noise of the world fades, the mind finally has space to wander. And wandering minds are incredibly powerful. Think about how many times great ideas appear when you're not actively trying to think. In the shower, on a long drive, during a quiet walk. Walking alone at night creates the perfect environment for that kind of mental wandering. Your body is moving, your surroundings are calm, and your brain enters a gentle rhythm between movement and thought. This is actually why many philosophers, writers, and scientists throughout history valued solitary walks. Friedrich Nietzsche once wrote that all truly great thoughts are conceived while walking. Even Charles Darwin reportedly took daily walks where he reflected deeply on his ideas. Walking stimulates the brain in subtle but important ways. When you move your body, blood flow increases to different parts of the brain, especially areas linked to creativity and problem solving. At the same time, rhythmic movement, step after step after step, creates a calming effect on the nervous system. It's almost like a moving form of meditation. But walking alone at night adds another psychological layer: solitude. There's something very different about being alone compared to being lonely. Loneliness is the feeling of unwanted disconnection. Solitude, on the other hand, is chosen space. And psychologically, chosen solitude can be incredibly restorative. People who enjoy walking alone at night often have a strong relationship with their own thoughts. They're comfortable being with themselves. And that's not as common as you might think. In a world filled with constant noise, social media, entertainment, endless scrolling, many people rarely spend time alone with their own mind. The moment silence appears, they instinctually reach for a distraction. But nightwalkers often do the opposite. They lean into the silence. They let their thoughts unfold naturally. And that's where something interesting happens. When you walk alone without constant stimulation, your brain activates something called the default mode network. This is a network of brain regions responsible for self-reflection, memory processing, and imagining the future. It's essentially the part of your mind that helps you understand your own life. During these quiet walks, people often replay conversations, think about decisions they need to make, reflect on emotions, or imagine possibilities for the future. It's like giving your mind a private workspace. But there's another psychological trait that often appears in people who enjoy walking alone at night. They tend to have high levels of introspection. Introspective people naturally examine their inner world, thoughts, emotions, motivations, fears. They're curious about their own mind, and nighttime provides the perfect environment for that curiosity. During the day, your attention is pulled outward towards tasks and other people, but at night, attention often turns inward. That's why many people say their deepest thoughts happen late at night. The quietness removes distractions, and suddenly your mind becomes louder. Now, for some people, that can feel uncomfortable. Being alone with your thoughts can sometimes bring up unresolved emotions or worries. That's one reason why not everyone enjoys quiet nighttime moments. But people who like walking alone at night often develop a certain emotional resilience. They've learned how to sit with their thoughts instead of running from them, and over time, that ability can lead to stronger self-awareness. You begin to understand your emotional patterns, you notice what triggers stress, you recognize what actually makes you happy versus what simply fills time. In psychology, this process is sometimes called emotional processing. Your brain sorts through experiences, organizes memories, and gradually makes sense of things that happened during the day. A quiet walk can become a kind of emotional reset. Another interesting factor behind nighttime walking is sensory experience. At night, the world simply feels different. Lights glow differently, sounds travel farther, even the temperature of the air changes. Because there are fewer distractions, your senses become more sensitive. You notice small details, the rustling of leaves, distant footsteps, the hum of a streetlight. These subtle sensory experiences can actually make people feel more present in the moment. Psychologists often link this feeling to mindfulness, the state of being fully aware of the present moment without judgment. And walking naturally supports mindfulness. Your attention moves between your steps, your breathing, and the environment around you. For many people, this creates a rare sense of calm. But here's something even more fascinating. Walking alone at night can also trigger creativity. Many artists, musicians, and writers describe nighttime as the period when their ideas feel most alive. There's a reason for that. When external distractions fade, your brain begins connecting ideas in new ways. Thoughts that seemed unrelated during the day suddenly start forming patterns. Your mind begins to explore. Night walking gives those thoughts space to unfold. It's almost like your brain finally has room to stretch. There's also a deeper psychological reason some people enjoy the night: freedom. During the day, social expectations are everywhere. Work schedules, responsibilities, interactions, constant communication. But at night, those expectations temporarily disappear. The world feels less demanding. You're not expected to answer messages, attend meetings, or perform any particular role. For a brief moment, you simply exist, and that feeling can be incredibly liberating. It's just you, your thoughts, and the quiet world around you. Interestingly, psychologists sometimes associate this preference with individuals who have high levels of autonomy. These are people who value independence, personal reflection, and self-directed time. They recharge through solitude rather than constant social interaction. But enjoying nighttime solitude doesn't mean someone dislikes people. That's a common misconception. Most people who enjoy walking alone at night still appreciate relationships, laughter, and connection. They simply understand the importance of balance, time with others, and time with themselves. Think of solitude like sleep for the mind. Just as your body needs rest after physical activity, your brain often needs quiet space after social stimulation. Without that quiet space, your thoughts become cluttered. But when you step away from the noise, even for a simple walk, you allow your mind to reorganize itself. Ideas settle, emotions process, perspective returns. That's why many people come back from a quiet walk feeling mentally lighter. Problems that felt overwhelming earlier suddenly seem more manageable. Your brain simply needed breathing room. Of course, safety always matters in real life, and everyone's environment is different, but psychologically speaking, the attraction to quiet nighttime walks reveals something interesting about the human mind. It shows a person who values reflection, a person comfortable with their own thoughts, someone whose mind doesn't always need constant stimulation to feel alive. And in many ways, that's a rare skill. Because the truth is, the longest conversation you will ever have in your life is the one you have with yourself. And people who walk alone at night are often practicing that conversation, step by step, thought by thought. So if you're someone who enjoys quiet nighttime walks, there's nothing strange about that. It might simply mean you've discovered something powerful, a space where your mind can slow down, where your thoughts can breathe, and where clarity quietly begins to appear. Now I'm curious about something. Are you someone who enjoys walking alone at night, or do you prefer quiet moments during the day instead? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoy exploring the hidden psychology behind everyday behaviors like this, make sure to subscribe. There are many more fascinating things about the human mind that we're going to uncover together.